Michal, Orlowski, TQ for the modified class, so well done on that. Looking to win back the title that Alex got back off you last year?
Yeah, it's been well. After 2 TQs we tried some stuff in the car, but couldn't really, the car was feeling better sometimes, but lap times and the 8-minute pace wasn't there. And then for the last one we decided to go back with every single thing on the car to Q2, just make it identical, and the car was amazing. In that one I was driving smooth at the beginning, not doing anything crazy, controlling the gap to Ollie and Alex, and then I didn't know where Mark is on the track, so I had no idea what the gap is, but I heard 5 or 4 minutes that he's in front, so I knew that at the beginning I was saving up the grip for later, and then I started pushing a little bit harder, and I was able to go in the front, but got unlucky with traffic, which has been a very big problem today. I think there's too big pace difference between the top guys and the last guys in the top heat, so there's a lot of issues with traffic, but luckily it didn't cost me the overall TQ, so it's looking good for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, going into that last run, I think it was yourself, Ollie, and maybe Alex could have TQ'd it. I know Mark also had a round win, but Mark's other scores weren't good enough to get him up there, so Mark's still starting fourth. Mark looks like he's the closest in pace to you, so are you quite happy that you've got some cars between you?
I don't mind. I mean, in the last one I had more pace in the bag, I would say, and at the end when I pushed a little bit harder I was able to be quicker than him, so of course it's easier that he's fourth, and I'm sure he'll be putting a lot of pressure on Ollie and Alex, but I don't know, I don't really mind who's behind me. I'm happy that the car is very good. I'm confident with the car and my driving and electronics, the power, tires, everything is working very well. So I'm happy that we got it together for the last one, because Q3, Q4 and Q5 was a little bit worse. And I'm just going to look forward in the mains.
Yeah, I mean, you took round one, you took round two, and then kind of everybody else took their turn at the front of that. So good to just seal off that position. Know you've got the pace back in the car. So looking forward to finals tomorrow. Should be good. Yeah,
it'll be interesting as always in 12 scale, a little bit longer final. So there's more time to make up some time or lose time. But I've enjoyed the 8-minute finals in the past at Euros, and I've had some experience over the last few years. We don't get to race this class much, but we do once or twice each year, and it's always fun. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to enjoy my car and see where we can end up at the end. Okay, well, good luck for the finals tomorrow. Hope to see you for the podium interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ollie Payne, just catching up with you for modified as well. So second on the grid, although maybe a coulda, woulda, shoulda story there.
Yeah, I had a bit of a rough run in Q5. I sort of led for pretty much the entire 8-minute run, swapping a few times here and there with like Michael and Mark, but unfortunately an incident in the final lap kind of cost me that run. I think it was a relatively fast run as well, so it was very frustrating. It would have put me on equal TQs to Michael, and I think potentially put me in the fight for overall TQ.
Yeah, I think going into that last round, I think it was kind of an open between Michael, you, and I think Alex could have taken it as well. Maybe if things had fallen right, Alex would have needed a pretty quick time and the right order from other people. Mark couldn't do it. As it was, Mark got there in the end, but that basically just sealed the deal for Michael.
That's it. Yeah, I think Michael had 2 TQs in a third, and I would have had 2 TQs in a second. So, it was kind of one of those things where I could have potentially TQ'd, but ended up going his way. So.
Okay, and having to do much different with the car. I mean, discussing with Alex earlier, the car's looking a little bit better towards the end of the day. Is that you've made the cars better, or are you just learning how to drive with the track conditions a bit better?
I'm making setup changes every run, and even power changes. I mean, normally in 6.5 Blinky, because it's more of a stock class than a modified class, we always want the most amount of power we can get, and I'm finding myself trying to make everything flatter and smoother and a little bit easier on the tire. It's not that it's hard to drive, but it's just that it's working everything too much.
Yeah, it does look like no one's looking quick over a complete 8-minute run at the moment. moment? It looks like everybody's kind of struggling a little bit with pace, either at the start of the run or at the end of the run.
Yeah, I think it's going to make finals, not interesting for you guys maybe, but very, very difficult for us, because there's 4 different guys that are all fast enough to win it, but at completely different stages of the race, we all have different pace. So it's going to look almost comical, I think, because in the beginning, Mark is a little bit steady and stable, whereas we're all a bit quick, and then by the end of the run, he is considerably faster than we are.
What do you think that is? Just tyre prep, or is that just a function? Obviously, the car layout is very, very different as well.
Yeah, I think it all depends. With our conventional style cars, like me and Alex and Michael run with the battery transverse, it means that we're working the tyre quite a lot harder, I think. And he seems to have got his car right now, which means that I don't know if it's necessarily like the best the whole time. Obviously two TQ rounds, so it's obviously good. But he just seems to be able to be a lot more consistent, which may have nothing to do with the car. It may just be Mark and the era he's from. But yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to try and race, especially on this layout and also with the traffic.
Okay, well, good luck for the finals tomorrow, and maybe see you again, interview for a podium spot.
Thank you.
Alex Hagberg then ended up 3rd on the grid in modified.
Yes.
Looks like that last run, obviously you TQ'd round 5. You were a little bit in the mix, and then you ended up, saw you sort of on your back off the edge of the straight.
Yeah, I sent my car off the track. Obviously pushed a bit too hard, and that can happen sometimes. So.
Yeah, it didn't look like you were right in the sort of fight of that. It kind of looked like Mark and Michael were a little bit of a step ahead maybe, or were you just trying to come back into it at that point?
I was lacking steering that run, and it cost me a lot of time. The car was just understeering way too much.
Yeah, it looks like change of direction. There's a lot of chicanes out there on the circuit, and it's not necessarily the initial change of direction. I think it's almost the second change of direction that you need in the car, and you need it to be quite positive, sort of release that way back through the chicane. Otherwise, you're waiting for the car to transition.
Yeah, definitely would need a bit more rotation, I would say, for tomorrow to be more competitive, so we're going to work on that overnight.
But do you think you got a good finals car? I mean, it's looked like you've had quite strong, consistent pace. You've always been up there throughout the day, so you're sort of flying under the radar a little bit.
Except for that last run, I thought I had pretty good consistency all throughout. So
I completely understand that, but at least you know what the mistake was and where you went wrong, and sometimes that's part of the learning process.
Yeah, definitely. We have to risk changing the setup sometimes more than we'd like to, and sometimes it goes in the wrong direction.
And seen Nicola working quite hard as well. You've been working on Nicola's car even during his run, so is that with trying to make your car better?
Yeah, definitely. We've used him as a test driver, let's say, and changed stuff on his car, which sometimes we could use also on my car. So that's been a good teamwork going.
Okay, and fairly standard car you're running, just the X24, the US spec, I guess?
Still the X12 24 EU spec, basically the same car as last year.
Okay, so you're running basically like, Jan was running the completely solid chassis, so you're running the flex chassis on your car?
I've been back and forth, but yeah, Indiana settled for the flex.
Yeah, much difference between them?
In terms of pace, not really. In terms of feeling, yeah, they're a little different. The flex is a bit more aggressive, the solid stays a little flatter, easier to drive, has more corner speed, but in terms of lap time, very similar.
Okay, so obviously you're aiming for an 8-minute time rather than just a single hot lap as well. It's served you pretty well, so good luck for tomorrow, and hopefully see you up here for a podium interview as well.